Okay, hi. We're going to test the hypothesis that you don't need to you don't need to compost food waste or put it in the biodigester, although we have biodigesters aplenty here, but that you can simply grind it and put it in the garden. And to do the experiment, to respond to the challenge that was given to me by Amanda Streets when we were doing our food security conference call for the paper that we're writing, I decided I need to do a scientific experiment and not just do the broadcasting that I have been doing. So I have two treatments. One is the bottom part of an IBC tank that is just bare, and one has been inoculated with the local soil and some of our avocado pits, it looks like, which is fine. The inoculation may have a beneficial effect. I know that in the past, when we've simply ground up food waste and thrown it in the garden or in the flower pot, it has worked. And we do have an experiment going on over here. I go past the solar. Bernard from Kenya and his wife have been growing this plot here, and they got some beans going there and some other things coming up here, and they have been fertilizing it with just ground up food waste. They've just been pouring the ground up food waste right on the plants rather than using fertilizer, rather than using compost, just ground up food waste in there. And we don't see any ill effects, but we don't have much to compare with. So time for a scientific study, or quasi-scientific study. So we're going to do treatments, and the two treatments will be not to put the food waste in the biodigesters here, not to put the food waste in the compost, but to put some just here in this plastic container, somewhat isolated from the natural world, and one that has the microbes and the annelid worms that came from the soil that I just dug out where the bucket is. All right, so here's the incinerator. This model of incinerator is the Evolution XL. It's a 1 horsepower motor, but it'll work with any one of them. I'm going to turn on some water, and I'm going to start grounding the food waste. A lot of avocado pits because we eat a lot of avocado. Paper napkins are here as well. And you can see it's being ground up. Now this over here stinks a bit because it's been sitting here for a couple of days. But when it comes out, it doesn't stink because it gets pH balanced. I'll have to take this avocado, this mango pit up, and we have a jam. So let me quickly unplug. Sorry about that. When the thing jams, to keep it from overheating, I just take my Allen wrench and put it underneath and unjam. Sometimes it staples in the tea bags. Could be other hard things like the mango pit. So let me replug this in again, having done that. All right, so we're going again. A lot of stuff going down here. You have to use enough water if you don't jam. I really want to start more avocado trees. But we're getting a good slurry, so let me pause for a moment here. And let's do our first batch. Let's just dump our first batch right in here. So, looks like vomit, right? What a mess. And you're thinking, ew, you can't possibly leave that out. Well, that's the experiment. We've always done this. We've always let it pour into the soil, and we've been doing that for 2 years, and it's never caused a problem. It doesn't attract rats or flies or anything else. Cardboard here. Oops. It works without jamming. Okay, we got a gem. No, we don't. Seems to be working. There we go. Oh, now we got it. Fixed itself. Oh, it's because there's a mango pit in there. Yeah, mango pits are notorious for jamming things. Yeah. Try not to get mango pits in. Keep the mango pits out. Alright, it's still grinding. Now it's jammed. Alright, I gotta quickly unplug. And let's get that mango pit out of there because mango pits are a mess. So we can toss the mango pit away. Try to clear out whatever. There's more mango pit. Yep, mango pits, always a problem. All right, now let's use our Allen wrench and get under here and clear out the jam. I think that's good. And now put that back and plug this back in. One of these days I'm going to get an easy on-off switch so I don't have to do this. So, all right. Back on. Yeah, it's jamming like crazy. All right, keep it from overheating. Unplug it again. But I think I got enough right now to pour in the other treatment. So let's take this bucket now, bring it past that treatment, and let's pour this, sorry I only have one hand, onto the soil where there's already soil microorganisms so we can see the difference. All right, so treatment 1 is on top of soil so that it's inoculated. Treatment 2 is just ground up food waste. And I'll grind the rest of it and evenly distribute it. And we'll see what happens there. So, now I'm gonna make sure I remove the jam again. Just be careful with avocado pits and mango pits. They jam the incinerator. Okay. Especially going in that direction. Looks like it only wants to go one way. Yeah, might be a staple from a tea bag that's caught in there. Let me go in here and see. Or it could be, oh, yeah, it's a spoon. Maybe that's what it was, a spoon and looks like some cloth. Well, we'll let that compost over there. Let's see if this works now. Could be plastic labels could be causing the jam because they're found on all the produce. Sometimes they cause a jam. So let's try it out again. Let's see. All right, we're back and running. And sure enough, we jammed again. Let's see what caused that jam. Something that was still in there. Could be the plastic labels. But it's unjammed now. If you go through this from time to time when you're grinding everything up indiscriminately and you haven't picked through stuff. Jammed again. That is such a bummer. I wonder what's all caught up causing all these jams. That's really jammed. All right, fix the jam. Fix the jam. And try it again. All in a day's work, right? All right. Let a little bit more time go by. Putting out a mango for them. Good problem. There we go. There's another one. Right down this to go in. doing its thing. But I got another half bucket for each of these guys. So they'll be equal treatments. So let's go for a half a bucket here. All right, and a half a bucket on the soil inoculated one. All right, so those are our treatments. Let me turn off the incinerator and we can talk about it for a second. Put the bucket back under. All right, so there should have never been this. Mango seeds. Mango seeds tossed in the garden and let them slowly decay. All right, so here's the deal. We have been grinding our food waste for 2 years using this incinerator, and we have been pouring it into the biodigester here, and we've been collecting gas in the gas holder there, and we've been collecting gas in the gas holder there, and we've been cooking on the stove over there. So we know that grinding food waste works really well to produce biogas. You can see the biogas holder has risen completely up here. It's filled with biogas there. And we're growing a papaya tree that volunteered there. That's really nice. We do compost, like we will weed and we'll make soil that way. But here's another way of making soil. And the test is to do what we've been doing for 2 years, which is grind up our food waste and just pour it in the garden. Now we've been doing that and it's been working. But there are people who've raised a concern. How healthy is it? They ask, does it attract rats and flies, and does it smell, and does it attract roaches? And the answer is, when it's poured on soil, which we've been doing for the past 2 years here, just letting it spill over. I mean, we always get this stuff here, and you just let it dump in like that. And by doing that, we've never had a problem. That's been working fine, but now we want to do a scientific study and start with nothing but ground up food waste and with a isolated, similar sized bin that is inoculated with the soil that we got from there, because we know that over there it hasn't created a problem. So something in that soil, the ants, the annelid worms, the microorganisms, have made it so that it never stinks and never attracts vermin. So we're pretty confident that even though this is isolated from the ground by plastic, that this is going to have the same characteristic, that we pour the food waste on top of that same soil and we're not going to have the smell, we're not going to have the so-called vermin, and it's going to turn into nice compost in 3 to 6 days as opposed to 3 to 6 months. Here, we're trying something else. Here we're starting from scratch, as it were, isolated from the ground part of nature. There still will be spores coming from the air, coming from the trees. I mean, obviously the world is alive out here, which is great. But we're just pouring the food waste that's ground up, just pouring it right in. And my only concern is it's a little bit wet, and so I'll see what happens with mosquitoes, if there's any problem at all. Usually there isn't, because there's oils and fats, and you can see a bit of the oil. If there is any problem with mosquitoes, I'm simply going to pour just a little bit of used vegetable oil, cooking oil, after we cook in there, and that does kill the mosquito larvae and adds to the compost. So I'm not worried about mosquitoes. I just want to see if mosquitoes are attracted before we put in the oil. And then that's it. There's no smell here. And boy, was this stinky food. When I started grinding it earlier today, it really stunk bad. But now that it's ground, it oxidizes very quickly. The pH is neutral because the acids and the bases from the proteins, the carbs, and the fats have now mixed all together. It's broken open all the cell walls. So yeah, it's not smelling. Imagine that, all that food waste just ground up, not stinking at all. So we will watch this and we will report back to you. And my very good intuition is that this one's going to do fantastic. It's just going to keep turning into soil. Every week we're going to have new soil being formed there. This one, I'm going to wait and see and find out. And if it does turn out that we don't actually need soil, that'll be a real benefit to people in urban areas who are dealing with huge food waste problems. Is that a hummingbird? Oh my goodness gracious. What is that? So hard to see. I wonder if that was a hummingbird. Beautiful wildlife out here at times. So that's the experiment. Hope that you'll please try this at home and see if you can add to the citizen science database so that we can destigmatize food waste as a problem and turn it into a solution. That's what we're all about here at Solar Cities. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.